there's judgment passed. Oh, you live in shit. Oh, well, you live like a king. I want to be a part of. And then there's vanity that comes along. Like people that want to glorify themselves and put themselves in such tremendous positions. Where they become, a deity. They become godlike in their own world because they march around and they can't see past their own nose. They just, the world works for them. And that's cool, power and all kinds of stuff, but it's not communicable. Culture is not your friend. You can't base yourself on your surroundings, like thinking about, looking at the world and seeing it for what it is. You have to look for it in those ways, because it's, our perceptions is what we our hates, our guilt, our fears, our jealousies are applied to everything that we do. If we can just walk around and totally be the experiencer, the one to make observation instead of judgment constantly, and you can do both at the same time, and that works, like, for me with comedy, because I can bullshit about something, point out the lighter things in life and stuff, but to me it's funny, it's not serious. I don't hold it to heart, it's a way for as a release for all the fucking crazy shit that's around me. If I go to work and I have a confrontation with somebody or whatever, if it's not in a joking manner, it's not forgiven. Guess what? That guy will hate me for life. And sometimes I go too far, and people are sensitive, and I want to press upon them, because if everybody walks around and they're boring and shit, they're not going to meet anything that's better. You're not going to see the art that somebody else has. So sometimes I press myself upon people just because they're so boring themselves, just because they try to glorify themselves up and make themselves up to be something when they're not. So it's my job to go, hey, look, there's other people in this world, dude. Just stop fucking thinking you're the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think I'm the shit. I know I'm fucking a dork. I know I'm this. I know I'm that. I know where I come from. And I know where I'm going. So that puts me above fucking like thinking I'm the best. I just realize who I am. I'm a human trying to make it. All these normal things about life. It's nothing pretty. The only thing that the only thing that we appreciate as beauty and pretty in our lives are the little things. Like being able to cook a nice meal and speak nice words and to be witty and to be genuine. And to be disingenuous is to having to pay for somebody else to talk all this shit in your ear every day. Like the rappers. They pay all this money to fucking wear nice, clothes and stuff like that, but they ostracize themselves. They're judged based on what they wear. They can't be right on, like normal, have some normalcy. They have to, they glorify themselves. They get all that vanity going, that hip hop, and you don't see this a lot in other music. This is why I point that out. It's not about me hating. I love the music, but everything doesn't need to be like monumental. I mean, that takes away the beauty in things. It's like you can't have beauty unless you have all this money, all these lights, and all these bitches, and all this shit, and all this fucking makeup, and all this fucking brainwashed bullshit, fucking propaganda ass crap. So I don't look at you don't see that in country. I hate country, but you don't see that in country. You don't see that in blues. You don't see that in rock and roll. And in rock and roll, that's crazy in the 80s. But those big bands were still wearing raggedy jeans and trying to fucking just as dirty as everybody else. It's not about, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just gotten so gaudy lately. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. But instead of pointing on that, I was kind of like, I started off about talking about how dealing with brainwashed people. To try to a lot of people try to tailor their ideas. Like right now, I'm trying to think of these ideas. How do I pass these ideas over to somebody else? And it's just about telling somebody how to be humble, how to understand that there's so many colors in this world. It doesn't really matter if you are the king or a street sweeper. You know what I'm saying? It's just about how you can how can you handle yourself with other people. Lots of people want to tailor their message to a special suit, a person. This is fine to an extent, but believe, it removes your quality of being straightforward. You're not being yourself if you're fucking tailoring yourself to how somebody else talks and walks and trying to sell yourself as something else, as an idea. It diminishes, you know. You lose your quality, you know, and your power, your effectiveness, you know. People, people need to be told the truth. The truth will set you free. I know it sounds cliche, you know. There's another one by Terence McKenna. If the truth is told as to be understood, it will be believed. You know, there's a process to it. You know, you have to go through it, and the truth hurts. It hits you in the face, man. You know, and I know because I constantly, I constantly run into those walls. But you know what I do is I learn where that wall is. I go, oh, okay, this is now I know how to climb over it. Or you know what? Sometimes the wall will just crumble. It'll never be an obstacle again. You know, because I've faced it. You know, I took the time to figure it out. You know. I know my own personal life has a lot of truthful hurts, you know, but it's the only thing which sets you free, you know, and that's the truth, you know. That is why I try to be as straightforward and truthful as possible as I can be, you know, and this makes me blunt and absurd in some ways, and I know that, but the only things that I hide are the things that are really pretty frivolous. I don't have too many skeletons in my closet, you know, and I think a lot of people, they walk around and they live a life of skeletons in the closet. You know, they can't be like, oh, well, this is who I am, you know, and open the door and say, hey, look, you know what, it's dirty, you know, it's a little dirty, but you know, I'm proud of my mess. You know, I'm proud of my experiences, my life, and my accomplishments, my follies, you know, all of that shit. You know, so I be truthful and straightforward, you know, and try to be, you know, a true friend, you know, and give real ideas. Because you know, you got to tell, you know, people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. You know, that's being a friend, you know. So, anyways, because some things are more important, you know, than being liked. You know, sometimes I like being the person that people hate because I'm the guy that said that they didn't want what they wanted to hear. But guess what? They're thinking about it. You know, they might be, you know, they might miss a couple, you know, 5 minutes of sleep at night over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think about shit, you know, constantly. The brain doesn't shut off. I mean, well, mine never shuts off. But, you know, the reality of telling someone the truth is the most respectful and caring thing that you can do to them, you know. It's also the most difficult, you know, because you know, that's the only way, you know. I don't know. In but that's the only case because people are surrounded by so many lies. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when you become truthful in your entire way of being, it's like opening up a door to a new reality and saying, "Hey, look, it's exposure." You know, some people they don't want to be exposed though. You know what I'm saying? They're like, "Okay, I'm cool in my box. You know, I'm cool right there. No, leave me alone. Here, shut the door." You know, okay, well, it's cool. You know, but you know, you could be, you know, beaver, cleaver, all you want, you know, and live in that black and white fucking world. But you know what? People don't believe it. They can see the truth. The eyes don't lie. The fucking situations, the conversations, all the insinuations, they don't fucking lie. You know, the truth comes out always. You know, and I'm no perfect fucking individual. You know, I'm the kind of fucking guy that has made lots and lots of bad decisions. But you know what? I think I'm a strong person because of that. You know, and I know like, you know, 90% of those bad decisions will never be made again. You know, that's what life is. You know, it's about tempering yourself. You know, making yourself strong. You know, what kind of person are you? You know, did life beat you up and tear you apart, or did it temper you and make you stronger? Are you better from it? I mean, you know, it can go two ways. It's a double-edged sword. You know, I mean, there's good and bad. It's like, how do you work with it? You know, making lemons. You know, lemonade out of lemons. So, you know, you know, a world of honesty and acceptance and appreciation for the, you know, for the world and people as a whole, you know, you know, it really doesn't exist, you know. When you're living a lie and having nothing, you know, because when you base your foundations, everything, if you lie about what you have and where you've been and what you've done and stuff, you have nothing. You can't be nothing. You can accomplish nothing, because people will fucking see the truth. You can't back up your shit with your words because it's lies. You just got to constantly fucking figure out where you're at, you know. You're like a perpetual misery machine if you're on that level. It's miserable, it's a miserable existence, but people do it because it allows them to fit in. Our society is sick. Living truthfully and honestly is the only cure in this type of fucking place, you know what I'm saying?